Discipline is going to those dark areas that you don't want to go to. The things that everything in your core of you says, don't do it. I don't want to. It actually beefs up the part of your brain that builds discipline. It actually makes your brain stronger. And that resiliency is directly related to success.
Motivation versus discipline, George. There's a huge discussion going on around this. Primarily, like, motivation, people say, is like, I want to do something, where discipline is like, this is how I'm going to actually habituate that thing. Is that fair?
I think that that's fair and absolutely accurate. Discipline is something that is forever, and motivation is something that is fleeting, which is good to kind of start that fire, hopefully to be more disciplined about it. But discipline is forever.
So I think, like, if we're looking at it, like, in terms of your business, like, whether like you're an entrepreneur, a creator, you work at a company, all of these things, if you have a team, you probably know what they need to focus on. And it's a question of instilling that discipline. But if it's more like on a personal, like an individual contributor level, or like you're the creator, you're the entrepreneur, there's like 1,000 things you want to do. How do you first figure out what you need to focus on in a sea of potential motivators?
So you want to be able to pay attention to the things that are going to be the greatest benefit to your company or business. That's going to be the most important thing, because you can't have your team work on many different things that they're going to focus and you're going to be able to track and help work on at once. So you can do, 2, maybe 3 things, but anything after that, you're going to be doing everything wrong. Even if you have 7 different people working on 7 different things, each individual person is not going to be able to prioritize so that they can actually change behavior. And when you're working in a company and you have many different cogs that are working together, you want to make sure that you are all moving towards the same goal as effectively as possible. And I think that a lot of times companies want to multitask and they want to do everything yesterday, which is fully understandable. But if you actually want to make concrete change, company-wide concrete change, or change for your own team, you want to be able to focus on what is the main goal right now and go through all the things you need, triage, and put them into a hierarchy, like actually number them. This would be the most effective, most monumental change. I want this, and make that something that is as close as possible to a single unit of behavior. I want everyone to check in, tell me their projects. That's it. I want to make sure that everyone is on time. I want everyone to be able to track their timelines so that things don't get mixed in, or I want to work on communication in a company. I think that that would be also a really great, like, skills or things that a company would just make for more effective companies would be also a really great show. But besides that, just know what you want and focus on one thing, and that should be your 100%. I'm always going to make sure that we are going through it. So that would be first, is just know what it is that will be the greatest benefit. And I would say usually what I do is I do the greatest benefit for the smallest amount of cost. Cost doesn't just mean money. Money also means time, but also it means mental effort. Because in a company, there's so many things that you're having to juggle to work on something. The ones that'll cause the most change for the smallest amount of cost are the ones that you should probably hit off right away.
So I think you answered this, but I just want to make sure, like, sometimes it's hard to tell something that's going to be a force multiplier versus something that's going to be a distraction. Something that's going to keep you running around the base of the mountain versus something that's going to help you climb the mountain. Is there a mechanism? Like, I don't know if it's just longevity. Like, is this like a week-long thing, a month-long thing, a year-long thing, multiple years? Is it something that affects me? Is it something that affects my immediate team? Is it something that affects, like, the greater team? Like, are there different sorts of weights and measures that you use to figure out what that focus or what that goal is going to be?
It all depends on the growth cycle of your company, the things that are already in place, the things that you're already doing really well. Maybe your company has worked out an amazing system how to communicate in your company. Now, again, that doesn't mean that it's going to apply to other different types of companies. It might just work for your company. But if you already have that, then working on that would be a waste of time and effort. So you want to be able to see the things that your company's health. You want to actually look at your company like an ecosystem with a growth cycle in itself? And is it growing and becoming more stable and healthy? Or are there areas and points of failure in your company? And so for each company, that would be different. And they often would hire people like me or someone else with that will actually go in and take a look at what's working, what isn't, what are the points of failure where we are. And then you want to look at those for what are the next steps that would actually benefit the entire company. And it's not just economically. This is also about company health, about keeping people on, about, making people happy so they use up less sick days. There's a lot of different things that work in an ecosystem to keep it healthy for a company, just like you would for a garden. You don't do any of the weeding. You're going to get a whole bunch of weeds. You let one weed proliferate, it's going to be all over the company and really difficult after to pull out.
Yeah, I think there's for motivators, there are some that I don't know if they're positive or negative. So for example, FOMO, Bob is doing 7 shorts a day. I should do 7 shorts a day. Mary started a mailing list. I should start a mailing list. This person got to work with that amazing company or individual. I should copy them to do that. Just little, or spite. They told me I couldn't do this. I'm going to show them. They said I could, how do you sort of sort through your personal motivators to see which are helpful to you and which might just be a form of procrastination or a form of distraction?
I think that it's really hard to do because a lot of times we see someone else that is successful at doing something and then we try to do all the other things, but sometimes it's just someone's personality type. It might be when they started. It might be that there was no one else in that field and so they were the first. And I think also a lot of people themselves attribute their success to certain traits that are not actually accurate to the reason that they are successful. It's really hard to see ourselves from inside the fishbowl. So often we're like, oh, because of A, B, and C, but it might just be that someone put in $100,000 to start off your company. Yeah. Whereas someone else is starting it from nowhere, or the field was not flooded where it is flooded now, or they already had a corner on the market, or were the first ones to do something, or they're just so affable and you might not have those traits. So it's like saying that every single hairstyle might not look good on you, even though it looks good on this one person. You actually have to take a look at your face shape and your style. You have to look at the traits that you have, what you bring to the table, and are you similar to this person? But time and space has changed. It is not the same platform. It's not the same company. It's not the same world that it was many years ago. And so you want to be able to situate yourself also really accurately.
So are you saying base it on your goals, not other people's achievements?
Yes. And don't take motivation. You can be motivated to do things, but often we're motivated by things that we want to do or that feel enjoyable to us versus discipline.
In the moment.
Yeah, we might be oh, I'm going to do this because they do this because it's fun, because it brings a joy to me, which is lovely. And I'm all about doing things that are fun. But that might not be. You might have to take a proper analysis to say, is that actually what I need to do to bring my company to the next level? Have I been avoiding something that I don't want to do? So naturally, our brains haven't evolved in 100,000 years. So we have a natural mechanism for each person, and that means for the entire company, to do the things that feel good. We like to do things that feel good, that reward our brain, that make us feel that dopamine, that progression. And we want to avoid things that are negative. But that actually usually is the area that we should go. And that's why discipline trumps motivation. Motivation is great as a starting point. It's a fire underneath you. But discipline is going to those dark areas that you don't want to go to hire out. You can watch our video on that, or to be able to do yourself and practice, which we're going to be going through how to do that today for yourself, to the things that everything in your core of you says, don't do it. I don't want to. I don't want to get better at paperwork. I hate doing paperwork. Well, if you can't hire out and you can't afford that, then guess what? Avoiding it is only going to make things worse. And when you are working on discipline, doing things you hate doing that feel like every core in your body is don't make me do this, it actually beefs up the part of your brain that builds discipline. It actually makes your brain stronger. And that resiliency is directly related to success. So the people that can suffer for longer, do the things that they don't want to do, will be more successful at their job, at their company, at their career, at their YouTube channel, whatever that might be. And you want to build that up. Even if it is doing something silly and small, like I'm going to answer emails even though I hate doing that, or I'm going to start to organize my text even though I hate doing it, that builds discipline, and discipline makes you stronger. That's that muscle in your brain that everyone needs, because that's what will pick you up when all the chips are down.
So, some of the things that we hear are like, you have to do 100 videos, like just to put the work in. You have to do like 4 hours a day of DMs to get like a couple leads. You have to like actually invest in doing these repetitive things, but and that you are successful when you do them because other people stop. Like that is one of the keys to success, is the discipline to keep doing it, to make video after video, to like send DM after DM, to do like whatever your particular business funnel has to be. But like you hear like terms like like grinding it out, or like, is that what you're talking about with discipline? Is it just putting in the work?
It is putting in the work, but even you saying that caused me like all of this different stress. Like you want to also build discipline in a small barrier to entry. You do not have to start off with doing 100 of something that you were doing 0 of beforehand. If you were doing 99, then adding 1, fair. But it's not always even doing something more or bigger. Often that's the thing that happens with us with trying to build discipline as a skill set, is that we make the barrier to entry, like if I don't do an hour, I've failed. Or if I didn't do 100 videos, or if I didn't put out 3 videos this week, I have failed. And that...
But haven't you?
I guess if I made
if you're being disciplined, right? Like if yeah.
No, but I shouldn't have made that as my goal. That was already setting myself up for discipline failure. Like you don't have to do that. You don't have to make things torturous. Now, again, I'm not saying that wouldn't build discipline. That would. But that's not the way to do this, because no one's going to be able to do that. But instead, if you make things into bite-sized pieces, small, you do once a week instead of every week, or once every 2 weeks, but just do it every single 2 weeks and keep into the habit, so that you build discipline as a habit, that no matter what I do, it might not be a great video, but I'm going to do a video. But you make the chunk small enough that it is easy step to jump onto. You can build it to become a habit. And once it's a habit, and when I say habit, great way to build a habit is actually to pair it with the behavior you're already doing and make it a small enough chunk that the barrier to entry is really easy. Say you want to start having everyone check in, you want to check your emails every morning, you want to have your company do that, and you just do that 5 minutes every day. You have a designated time that you do for 5 minutes. Once you do something for 5 minutes, the chances are you will go through all the emails and finish them off. And you do them, you start them, you get them done, you're done. That can build a habit where you can become disciplined even if you don't want to, if you have an anxiety towards doing that. That works out really, really well. But if you make the barrier, the first jump, to be, I have to do 100 videos every single, year, then that becomes something where, oh my God, I'm so stressed. It's so far from where I am. You're never going to get there. You're going to feel
you make
like
it easier to give up than to do it.
You're almost setting yourself up to fail.
You're making it easier to give up than to succeed.
Absolutely.
Is that like the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing where like, if you wake up and you don't want to go to the gym because the worst case you'll have like a bad day at the gym, but the best case is like you'll get over it and have a great day at the gym?
Absolutely. And I would say that you don't even have to go to the gym. Say that you don't feel like going to the gym, your car's broken down, fine, I'll work out at home. Like, you're still working out. You're
but
still
will you,
practicing that. No, but then you have to, let's go through what we do to make yourself more disciplined. If you really want to learn a skill, to get better at something, to make sure your company does it, track it. Track the behavior in a way that is visual, that is in your face, and that is simple. And the barrier to entry does not take more than the fear of failure, which is usually why we're not doing something. Or the
You're
barrier
going to say check mark on a calendar. I'm just waiting for it. Absolutely. Write it on a piece, and I mean a piece of paper, like actual paper, that thing. I know that, I'm sorry, trees. I've heard of paper.
A piece of paper, Put it on a piece of paper somewhere that is there, and you track that behavior. Or if it's in your company, put it onto a company list where you are tracking, did this get done? And have it be not once every month, like once you've already failed at it 7 times, then it's going to be tracked. No, every single day. And if you are the manager that is trying to help build this behavior in your team, then the people that do it, give them that cookie of affirmation and validation that we are all striving for. Yeah, you're going to be like, oh, well, they should be doing it anyways. No, do you want them to actually do it? Then you need to work on those leadership skills of encouraging people and acknowledging, I did the work. I am so sick of hearing that only the people that get attention are the ones that do poorly, and they get tons of attention. The people that are doing good and working their little tail feathers off, they're not getting any affirmation and validation. That is probably one of the resources that is so effective in motivating people to be more disciplined. It's very effective, and we're all starving from it. Saying, you know what, good job, I appreciated this, thank you for doing this. Often that will keep someone going towards the goal. So you have that, it's there, it's tracked every day, it's a small barrier to entry, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, and you get to put down that you're doing it. That will build 1, positive feelings, 2, a change in behavior. It becomes habitual. And then once it's there, you can slowly ramp down it, doing it and having to be there all the time, because then it becomes a habit.
Yeah, I think what you're talking about there sounds like some people have intrinsic and extrinsic reward systems for discipline or components for discipline. Do you need both? Like, I feel like some people are just, not me, other people are much more intrinsically disciplined than I am. I need sort of like external factors helping push me along. Or at least sometimes.
Yeah, it depends on what it is. And you want to have both. Intrinsic factors are, I feel good. I give myself that validation for doing it. Just seeing that little tiny sticker on the, I like stickers, on the calendar is enough of a joy to be like, woohoo, good job, go me. But it definitely is also nice to have the people that you are working for acknowledge that. To be able to have the creator of the videos be able to say, you know what, that edit, that was amazing. I really liked that. You want to let people know your job as a boss, a manager, is to teach people how to behave in your company by not just
without
saying,
you.
I don't. Yes. Well, that goes back to behavior type.
Okay.
But if you are the boss or manager there, it's with you. And it should be with you. And so you should also encourage that and acknowledge that. I think that a lot of times when things are going smooth and everything's flowing really well, we forget to thank the people that have made that possible. And you don't want to create resentment. If someone's worked extra time, extra hours, and you're not acknowledging that, that can cause resentment. Resentment makes people annoyed. That creates burnout. That creates more sick days. That creates people wanting to look for a place where they are acknowledged and appreciated. So please do remember that, not just when things go down and all the poop hits the fan. You want to also do that just daily when things are going really well. That's actually often more appreciated. And you want that compliment to be, for it to be a proper motivator and to create discipline, you want it to be something that is concrete and linked to exactly what happened and what character traits they showed in doing it.
So the reason I mentioned about without you is that, like, I think there's a blurry line between that and micromanagement, where it feels like you've been given this task and they're checking on you constantly to do that task, as opposed to, like, I don't know, graduation, where like, oh, you're checking your email like for the first 5 minutes. Like, I can't compliment you for that for 3 years. There's like a point where that becomes like breathing or walking, and there's like some other thing that you're working on.
Absolutely. And micromanaging is often when you're picking at little tiny things and often going into areas where you don't really need to, where the person that feels like you're undermining their intelligence or their job performance, which you only want to do if you need to do that, if it's actually going to cause an issue. Like, you really do want to take a look, and that's very demotivating. And that also lowers their feelings of competency. And so those things, even if they're disciplined, they'll keep doing it. And that's why it will always trump that. But it will start to build up that feeling of animosity and resentment if someone is picking at everything and not noticing it. And no, you don't have to constantly say, like, thank you for responding to the email and responding in a polite manner. No, you don't have to. But every once in a while, to be able to say, you know what, I really do appreciate that you write, beautifully and eloquently in your emails. And I find that really professional. That is something that would be appreciated, and especially when it's something that other people don't usually notice. Good job means almost nothing, and it goes into our ear and comes out the other side. So it's not very motivating. It's not like something that someone threw out without any thought, without any conscious, concrete issue that they've actually went through and actually
not personalized.
People just do that. So it doesn't
Yeah.
really mean anything. Good job is pretty, I'm not going to say it's worth nothing, but it's like close to that.
It's almost sarcastic these days.
It could be.
It is. It's like, good job.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
With a hearty thumbs up.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You told me something a long time ago that has always stuck with me, and that is you try every day to make somebody's day, several people, if you can manage it. And I think that falls sort of like into this bucket, and it's hugely motivational. If you were going to tell people like how to progress through motivation and discipline, like there is this thing that you need to get done, there's this thing you need your team to get done, what are the steps that you would lay out for them, like the action plan?
So the first thing is you want to know what you want them to do. So you want to get a list, triage all the different things that you need, and which is the one that you are going to focus on 100%. You want to break that down into concrete steps, and then you want to share that with your team in how you specifically wanted to do it, and then track that behavior. And if possible, the more often that you track something, the better chances that everyone will be on task. I'll just say one more piece to that is that if someone doesn't do it, you want to ask them why that didn't happen and what can they do to be able to change that. And then you just continue tracking behavior, and then emotionally give them that affirmation of good job to it. Don't just notice the people that are failing at it. Also notice those that are doing it. That will help motivate people to build a habit.
And what about if it's like for you, like there's like a part, like another job that you want, another opportunity that you want, and you're trying to build that skill for yourself. You want to be like self-motivated, self-disciplined.
So if you are trying to learn a better skill, what you want to do is you want to build it to a habit you already have. Pair them together. If you merge them together, you will remember to do it, and start off small. Just do it for 5 minutes. You can do that multiple times a day, and you personally track it yourself, and then positive affirmation to yourself like, good job, I did this. I hated it, but I still did it and I got better at it. And if you can do that in a way that you can see it or have a reminder, even if it's just sticking something onto your computer to be able to do that, that works really effectively. Even if it is something simple but about the way that you write an email or your set of speech. And if you can, look at your own behavior, record it, see it, look through the emails and notice what it might be so you can more concretely look at the behavior instead of just dealing with it real time.
Keep yourself honest.
Exactly.
You know what I would love at this point? Everyone to go into the comments and tell us their successes, their failures, their hopes, their aspirations, stories about like discipline and motivation, and any questions that they might have.
Yeah, this would be a great way for you to track change, is to actually write it down so that we can take a look at what you are working with and we can help keep you honest with the community to be able to see if you've reached your goals.